What's happening, people? Hope you're all well. Silent Planet are back with a new song called Wick. This is the first song back after their side project with Invent Anime, which was very, very good, to be fair. Very, very solid. It's kind of felt a little bit more like Invent Anime to me. So I am excited to hear Silent Planet by themselves again, to see how their sound has evolved or maybe refined on the sound that we heard in Super Bloom, which I want to put it out there. I thought it was a fantastic album. I rated that album an 8.5 out of 10, but I think because of the way I titled that video, there's been a meme that's kind of brewed of like Super Bloom was a bit underwhelming, which obviously it just kind of grew more legs than I ever anticipated it would. It's still memes to this day. Anytime I say I'm like slightly underwhelmed by something, it's just become a meme. But don't get it twisted. I love Silent Planet. I think they're an absolutely phenomenal band. One of the best metalcore bands in the scene. And especially with their linking up with Buster Out of Home, who is like he's one of the guys at the moment in terms of like mixing and mastering. And then we have Dan Bronstein, who's also doing the production as well. So I'm sure this will be fun. Silent Planet, Wick, let's go. Okay, they were teasing this on their socials, some of these visuals. I have to be prepared for this to slam me very hard because Buster's mix is always, you know, large, to say the least. So I'm expecting a jump scare here. Prepare. You were made to oh, wow. That bass, man. Oh, fuck. That is Chunkville. Oh, the riff. Interesting to go from a chunky verse to a chunky chorus. Oh my god, the muted fucking chokes coming in. I'm curious to see where this is going to go to outro. Bit of a mixed bag so far. There's Dan Bronstein, I'm assuming, his touches. That sounded like an artillery strike. I think that was the goal with that one. Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness, man. Credit where it's due. The production, I don't know exactly who had the hand in creating that visual audio visualization or an audio representation. I don't know the best way to phrase this. I'm a bit lost for words on how to phrase it, but they really nailed because obviously the visuals are very like war driven. They really nailed the like artillery strike sound with the production in this. I'm assuming that was a Dan Bronstein touch. Maybe it was back and forth between Buster and Dan and the band themselves, but that was sick. It allowed the actual impact. Like Buster's drums and the way he actually mixes his music in general is so loud and impactful. Like his drum mix has become so iconic in the modern metal space. Like everyone is seeking out that style, almost to the point where it's becoming like oversaturated, which is a testament to how like successful Buster has been with his style with Humanity's Last Breath and Viljarta and Throne and all these other fucking projects he's working with. And already his stuff is so impactful. So when you add in a little detail, a little accented note, it sounded like some kind of quick riser just into the actual note. It literally sounded like that droney like impact of a fucking missile hitting soil, just eerie. But as a song, obviously very fucking chaotic from start to finish. The chorus itself was like drowned in reverb when it comes to the vocals, but then it was just chuggy throughout, so it had a bit of a groove to the chorus, and the verses were like high octane fucking intensity, high energy. So not really many moments to fully dissect what was going on. So let me listen to the song again, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit more. All right, so as we've made a habit of doing recently, any song that kind of requires a second listen, we just kind of do it together on camera, because I feel like the thing with Silent Planet is as well, upon reading the lyrics a little bit more, I feel like sometimes their songs can be kind of tossed into... See, I never would put Silent Planet in it like a generic metalcore field at all, because they just never have been that band for me. There's just way more beyond the music itself that lies within the whole fiber of this band. Like they've got such an unbelievably dense like lyrical catalog. So sometimes when I listen to just the music on a first listen, and especially with that Buster mix, everything is so loud and in your face and chaotic that it almost comes across as it's just like this kind of caveman metal music because of how ridiculously intense it is. And sometimes on first listen, the effect of the song itself and the emotional impact of the lyrics are kind of lost on me. So upon like listening to this again one time on my own time and just reading through the lyrics, I don't fully 100% grasp the concept right now, but the intricacies of the lyrics and how it's like told, how the story is told, with the like synchronization of the lyrics or the music itself, it just makes certain moments hit a lot harder. Like even just going through some of the lyrics, the way Gareth has like explained certain things and his like poetic delivery just had my hair standing up and instantly makes the song just hit harder. Like, you were made to break out. There's a black sea churning by the cradle of the atoms. Now, I'm not going to pretend to fully understand exactly what the like metaphorical meaning of that line is. You could probably dig quite deep into it. I could be here all day trying to break it out, but there's just certain moments that sound amazing. They're so poetic. History is on repeat, just waiting in the gallows. Summon your suspicions, lend me your curse. Tonight we're going to see which soldier blinks first. Now, again, my interpretation of that is like people fighting on the front line, and it's almost as if like, you know, which group of soldiers is going to fall asleep first. You can't afford to do that, otherwise you're going to be absolutely fucking raided and killed, whatever. It's just obviously, along with the visuals, is very driven by war, this entire song. Obviously, there's so much of that going on in the world today, which is crazy to think that humans just never fucking learn. But I guess when politics are involved, there's always going to be some kind of conflict. But yeah, let's just listen to this song again. And I did grasp the idea of it being about war, but then the use of the like artillery strike via production and just the intensity of Buster's mix, so clever, so fucking sick. It reminds me a lot of the Disembodied Tyrant track that they did recently, which is called 8.6 Blackout, which is using like production elements and instrumental stuff to create like an atmosphere that sounds like a fucking war zone. Reflections did it before in one of their albums previously, where it sounded like it was a little bit more futuristic. It sounded like aliens fighting humans in like some fucking far off galaxy. That was the way I was listening to it and interpreting it. But this is a very like real, raw take on wars that are happening today, with like literal, like it's sounding like artillery strikes. And then I guess Wick, I don't know the full definition of wick, but it's like a candle wick or whatever, like so something dropping down it almost, again, maybe that was the kind of concept around the idea of the song. Let's call it Wick and let's make it about artillery strikes. And then they built the song around that. I have no idea. I have no insight. But that's my guess based on the idea of the song being called Wick. But anyway, let's just play it again, and I'll just stop at any particular moments that I found interesting or I think is just ridiculous or I don't really understand or I don't love. So someone picks up the little cassette tape, pops it in the car, and then it takes us on this little journey. I don't fully understand this. Like, why are they just picking this up, putting that in? Silent Planet, playing the song. Why does it then turn into a video on a TV screen? I don't... Maybe I'm missing something. Also, when the... Oh, it's not... Wait. Why does a car have one of them? Am I just too young for this? Is a car playing these tapes? If not, it's just an audio thing. But then why is there a visual with it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking way too deep into this.
You were made to...
Okay, so they're just listening to it. And the visuals are accompanying it. You were meant to break out. You see, that is very, very cool. On first listen, I was kind of like, okay, cool intro. It's very intense, very in your face, very like new era of Silent Planet. We've kind of heard this delivery in the introduction before, but I love the line. This is, again, I didn't hear that on first listen, but then I read the lyrics and then I listen to the song that like follows the actual lyrical call out. Tonight we're going to see which soldier blinks first, and then we get into this like kind of more chill, vibey, bassy section that almost kind of, it's a bit trancy and almost like lethargic and slow. So it's almost like one of the soldiers or one group of the soldiers is falling asleep or whatever. That's the impression I get. So again, it's like clever lyrically, but also the song is matching that idea in my interpretation. Which is why the lyrics sometimes with Silent Planet are just so necessary. Oh man, Buster is the fucking goat. I don't know if it's Buster or if it's bands, you know, making the decision musically, but I know Buster was working pretty closely with Silent Planet on the last album, so I imagine it's probably the same kind of thing. But he's got such a knack at being involved. This is what makes me think it's maybe Buster's influence somewhere within the actual song. Just his understanding of like where to just pause for a second, whether it be just like a flash moment where like, because his mixes are so impactful, like literally artillery strikes, having that little subtle pause in the middle of it just allows the full force of his mixes to slam. Like, I'm thinking of the very intro to Orbit Culture's The Tale of War, or The Tales of War, that Buster's working on as well. His music just lends itself so much to war because of how impactful it is. It's so fucking ridiculous. But again, just that little moment there where it stops and starts. Just a little bit of space. Ah. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm pausing it again, but like, chapel full of children waiting on the stars, singing with the sirens, can you feel your heartbeat? Trace it from the shockwaves ticking in your palms, sacred in the fire when their bodies meet the bomb. And then the slam. Again, everything's just like almost landing, everything like finalizes, or everything I was gonna say climaxes, but it's probably the incorrect word. the crescendo of like everything is like a fucking grenade or an impact of a big bomb. It's just the way it feels, which is just, it's so sick. Yeah, this is so like rooted in the whole conflict that's going on at the moment. I don't even know if you can mention where or the sides involved without the whole video just getting fucked. So you know where I'm talking about, the one that everyone's talking about at the moment. One of the ones that everyone's talking about, actually. It's unfair to say the one that everyone's talking about. But I've got a message from the youth with a sling and a stone. I won't stop till the beast sinks into the soil, eyes wide shut, sunflowers follow you. One last breath. I mean, I don't really need to go into any much more detail in explaining that, but I've got a message from the youth with a sling and a stone. Crazy good lyrics. And I want to finish up on the part, because I am yapping now a little bit, but I love doing this. The part with the artillery strike is the fucking icing on the cake for this song. That is the absolute most ridiculous. Like, it just sounds like the breakdown in or it doesn't really sound like it, but it's like Disembodied Tyrant's most recent breakdown on the 8.6 Blackout, where it's just like, it sounds like firearms and artillery strikes and everything going off. It's crazy. Before we get hit by this, I just want to say that I'm currently doing a Deftones deep dive on their discography. I've done their first 2 albums. And I was kind of like just listening to Chino and his delivery and, you know, that ethereal kind of like moany sexual kind of sound. And it's funny to hear. I was only talking about how much he's influenced the scene. Now, I don't know if this is direct influence from Chino with Garrett here, but it's just funny to hear that same kind of delivery. And I had a bit of an issue with some of the moments in Deftones' discography and the earlier stuff that just doesn't really resonate with me too much, because it's just intrinsically not as heavy as some of the modern stuff, which is obviously when I kind of got into metal music over the past couple of years. So the older stuff in the more like new metal vein, which is obviously with Linkin Park, Deftones' earlier stuff definitely leans into a little bit more. It just doesn't excite me as much. So this is like a cool balance of the two. It's like what Chino's kind of doing in a lot of the earlier Deftones stuff with the, but it's got that modern mix and that modern production where it's just like, when we're getting heavy, we are getting like relentlessly heavy. Like, it's so impactful. So it's just funny that I only had that conversation with myself this morning in one of the Deftones videos, and now we're kind of hearing it through Gareth, which is pretty cool. This part here is fucking sick. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, that's sick. That's a sick song. Lads, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That is so up my street. Honestly, on first listen, I was kind of like, if I'm being 100% honest, although I love Buster Oldham, I did kind of have this hunch that he doesn't really suit Silent Planet's style, because Garrett's lyrical content is so masterful that I think Buster's mix is like so overpowering that you kind of forget that Garrett even exists sometimes. So I felt that with Super Bloom, there was just like a weird discrepancy between the two that just didn't really match. Super Bloom has some fucking fantastic songs in it, don't get me wrong, and some of it did really work, but I feel like Silent Planet kind of lost that like mysterious identity that they once had with the lyrical side of things. But now maybe I'm becoming a little bit more accustomed to it. I'm just accepting for what it is. And this one fucking hit. This one fucking hit. It has meaning. It's heavy. It's melodic. It's kind of ticking a lot of boxes. It has the fucking ridiculous mix from Buster. It's ridiculous. No matter way you want to put it, it's insane. It's definitely on the cutting edge in modern metal. A lot of bands are trying to copy this style and get this sound. So yeah, that's a lot of yapping, lads. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like in the video if you enjoyed. That's all. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.